Hi grade 8s. Today we're going to learn how to find the area of a triangle and the area of a trapezoid. You've probably done this before, finding the area of a triangle. The area of a triangle is half the product of a base and the corresponding height. So what does that mean? You take the base times the height and then divide it by 2. Let me explain to you why that is the case. So let's suppose that you take the same triangle and then you flip it around. I'm trying to do this as good as possible. And then you just attach it to your original triangle. Let's assume that this triangle and this triangle are identical or congruent. And then you can see that you've made a parallelogram. And what did we say about area of a parallelogram in our previous lesson? We take the base times the height, and then you would get the area of the parallelogram. Now, if the area of a parallelogram is base times height, then obviously this is half of the parallelogram. So that is why to find the area of a triangle is half times base times height. So let's put some numbers here. Let's assume that the base is 5, and then the height of this triangle or trapezoid is, parallelogram is 4. So you would have 5 times 4, which is 20. Okay, 5 times 4, which is 20. And then that would be the parallelogram, the area of a parallelogram. And now if I take half of that, which is 10, then that will be the area of the triangle. Let's look at the first example. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum in Cleveland, Ohio has a triangular shaped wall as shown. What is the area of the wall? So we can see that the base of this is 231 and the height is 111 feet. So what we do is we write out the formula of the triangle. So A equals half base times height. And then we simply just plug in the base and the height into the formula. So half, base being 231, and then height being 111. And then you simply multiply. And then it will give you 12,820.5. Now suppose in the second example where you're given the area and you're given one of the height or base. In this case, you're looking for the base. So again, you write out the formula. A equals half of base times height. And then instead of substituting both base and height, you're now given the area. So you're putting A as 7,525.5 and then the height as 87. So this should be what you have when you set up your question, your equation. And then you're looking at this equation and you notice that you're looking for the value for the base. So what you can do is then you simply multiply first. So this is half times base times 87. So that means you would have 43.5 base, right? All I did was half times 87, that gives you 43.5. So then now you have 7,525.5 equals to 43.5b. Now, simple algebra suggests that all you have to do is to divide both sides by 43.5 to find the value of b. And if you do that, you would have 173 feet equals b. Okay. Next, we're looking at the area of a trapezoid. The area A of a trapezoid is half the product of the sum of the bases and the height. So what does that mean? So what you're doing is imagine down here that you have two congruent trapezoid, okay? And let's suppose that this is 5. Oops, sorry, can't draw on that for some reason. Let's try that again. This is 5, and then this is 8. And because these are two congruent or identical trapezoids, then I just flip that around. So this is 5 and this is 8, right? So this whole thing, if pushed together, will be 13 and then 4. If I took 13 times 4, I would get 52. But this is two trapezoids put together to make this parallelogram. So therefore, one trapezoid will be 26. So likewise over here, if I have a trapezoid just like this, and I have an identical trapezoid flipped around and attached to my first trapezoid, I again will have a parallelogram. So that will be base times height to get the parallelogram. Now, two trapezoids make up a parallelogram, so if I divide the parallelogram, the area of the parallelogram in 2, then I will get the area of a trapezoid. Hence, the formula would be A equals half the base plus base 2 times h, the height. Now let's take a look at these examples. So I'm given a trapezoid right here where I have one of the base as 5 and the other base as 10. The height of this trapezoid is 8. So all I have to do is write out the formula of a trapezoid and then put in those values. So I have half, the first base is 5, the second base is 10, and then the height is 8. So I have 5 plus 10 times 8. So therefore I have half times 5 plus 10 times 8, which is 15 in the middle, and then 8 times 15 is 120, and then I divide that by half, or multiply that by half, then I would get 60. Let's suppose you're being given the area of the trapezoid, and you're given two base. One base is 8 meters, and the other base is 14 meters, and you're asked to try to find the height. So again, you write out the formula. It's always good to write out the formula so you can look at the formula and also look at what you have, and then simply just put in what you have into the formula. So right here you have 66 square meters as the area, which is A. So you put 66 as A, and then your first base is 8 meters, and your second base is 14. And then you don't know what h is. You don't have your height. So you're trying to find the height. So then 8 plus 14 gives you 22, and then you multiply that by half, which is 11. 66 equals to 11h. So to find h, you divide both sides by 11, then you would get 6 equals to h. So the height of this trapezoid is 6 meters. Our last example here, we have a compound shape where it consists of a triangle on top and then a trapezoid on the bottom, which makes up a pentagon. Okay, and you're asked to find out what is the area of this entire shape. This might look complicated, but if you cut this shape in half and look at the triangle itself and then the trapezoid by itself, then it should be pretty straightforward. All you have to do is find the area of the triangle first, and then the area of the trapezoid, and then just add them together. So by finding the area of the triangle, you write out A equals half times base times height, and then you substitute 8 as the base, and then 3 as the height into the equation or the formula, and then you will find that 8 times 3 is 24, 24 times half is 12. That is the area of the triangle, which is all this area right here, okay? All this area right here. And then for the area of the trapezoid, all you have to do is, again, plug things into the formula. You have the first base, which is 6, and then the second base, which is 8, and then height as 5 right here. So 6 plus 8 is 14. 14 times 5 is 70. 70 divided by half is 35. And then that will be the area of this right here. Okay, area of all this. Okay, I'm just gonna randomly shade this in. Okay, that's completely shaded in. So then you would have 12 plus 35 equals to 47. So this entire shape has an area of 47 units, or in this case, yards square. That's it for the lesson today. I will post what you have to do on Power School. Please go on and check. And if you have any questions regarding to the lesson, you may message me on Power School or send me an email. Thank you.